Hello. Now in this second video lecture we shall see model parameters of components. We shall just see the simple model parameters, that is how to set the parameters for resistor and capacitor. For that we shall first start with the LT Spice. It is LT Spice 17, version is 17, and let us create new schematic. Now first we shall place one voltage source over here, and for this, to understand the voltage, the model parameters, what we shall do, that we shall use one filter circuit, simple RC filter circuit, by taking one resistor here. I rotate it by pressing Ctrl R, and then I shall place it over here. Another resistor I shall place it over here. Okay, the two resistors are enough. We shall see just second order RC filter circuit. Then I shall take two capacitors. One capacitor I shall put here and another one over here. Now I shall put this capacitor properly here. Okay, now we shall connect them together. Again I tell you, you can go through the components and just click over here. That doesn't make any difference, and you can connect them very easily like this. Don't forget to create one ground terminal. For that we require to have the ground terminal here. We shall put it here. Okay, now everything is all right. Now what we have to do is, as you know, R1 and R2 are the labels, C1 and C2 are the labels, V1 is also the label. Now I am going to change the parameter for this resistor R1 and R2. So for that I click on this value, right click on this value, and write down the parameter by using a variable, say resistor. Now you can observe it that I have put this resistor variable in curly braces. So due to that it becomes a particular value, and now click OK, so that here is the variable for resistor R1 as a resistor. Similarly for the second one also I am using the same variable. Then for the capacitors I am using a new variable, capacitor, in curly braces, and here also I am using another for the next capacitor. So now these resistor and capacitor variables are set. Now what I have to do is to set the model parameter. For that I click on Spice directive here, and now I am writing one very important directive. Note down it very carefully. Dot param means parameter, space. Now I type the variable name as resistor and I write the value as 1K. Means what I am doing here, that I am setting the value of all the resistors having the variable resistor to 1K. Now I click OK. Now this is the Spice directive. I shall put it somewhere near this resistor. Now for the same thing, for capacitor I am using another Spice directive. I write dot param, then the name of the variable as capacitor, space, dot param, space, capacitor space 10N, that is 10 nanofarad, and I click OK. I shall put it over here near the capacitor. Okay, once it is done, now what is the case here, that I have set the value of R1 and R2 together to 1K simultaneously, and for capacitors I have put the value as 10 nanofarad for both the capacitors simultaneously. Now what we have to do is to change this voltage source. Right now it is independent DC voltage source, so we have to change some value of that. I go to advanced here and I set the value to say 1 volt. That is small signal AC analysis purpose. For the small signal AC analysis purpose, I set the value to AC. Amplitude is 1 volt. Now here is the value coming up. I move it somewhere here and the label also over here. Okay. Now we shall click on simulate and then edit simulation command. Now I go to AC analysis here, the next tab, and I use the octave, that is the type of sweep which I want in my graph, which is the octave, and then number of points per octave. I shall select just to be 10. Then the start frequency is 1 kilohertz and the stop frequency is 10 kilohertz. Means I want to see the performance of this low pass filter circuit, second order low pass filter circuit, within the range of frequencies from 1 kilohertz to 10 kilohertz. So you can see here the directive is appearing, .AC octave, the number of points per octave are 10, then 1K stands for the start frequency and 10K stands for the stop frequency. I put it over here because it is related to this AC voltage source. Now this has become AC voltage source. Initially it was independent DC voltage source. Okay. Now with this we are all set, and now we shall run this circuit. Okay, so the circuit is now running, and let us see. I shall click on this node first and let us see what happens here. You can see clearly the 1 kilohertz, then 1.9 kilohertz, 2.8 kilohertz, 3.7 kilohertz, 4.6 kilohertz, then 5.5 kilohertz, up to 7.3 kilohertz. I am getting some gain. It is of course in minus, but from 0 dB up to minus 4 dB I am getting some gain, and after 9.1 kilohertz almost the gain is reducing down. So it clearly shows that the circuit is acting as low pass filter circuit. This is the first node on which I am looking the performance or the working of the circuit. Now I delete this graph on this particular node. For that, right click on this particular node point and then click delete this trace. Then I click on this one, the next node. Let us see, here also I am getting the same thing, and here also I click. So I am getting now two different graphs. If the blue color is rather confusing, you can right click on this and change the color to say red. So it clearly shows that the circuit is acting as low pass filter circuit. So with the help of the resistor and capacitor model parameter setup, it is very easy to plot the graph of low pass filter or high pass filter or band pass filter or band stop filter. So in this way we can set the model parameters of resistor and capacitor. The same method applies for all other types of parameter setting. So in this way we come to the end of this lecture, and in the next lecture we shall see how to set the step-wise parameters for resistors and capacitors. Thank you.